Well, May is Lupus Awareness Month, and whether you yourself have been recently diagnosed or you know someone who has, it can be a scary and confusing time. But joining me now is someone who's been there, who is so passionate about the subject and has since dedicated her life to helping others heal. Dr. Brooke Goldner, thank you so much as always. I know I've said it before, but you are one of the most intelligent and truly just most compassionate healthcare professionals I think I've ever had the pleasure of speaking with. We actually had a viewer reach out saying you changed her life. So thank you again for joining us on the show. Lupus is a scary thing, right? I think a lot of people know it's autoimmune, but because of that, it can be hard to kind of pinpoint the cause, treat each body differently. More often than not, though, I'm curious what you found is really happening to the body here. How can we kind of best define lupus?
Well, thank you so much. It's always fun to see you again. I love hanging out with you on your show. And thank you for bringing awareness. It is Lupus Awareness Month, so it's definitely the time to be focusing on this. But this is a disease that affects people around the world. They estimate 5 million people around the world and 1.5 million in the US. But then they also say that over 60% of people are misdiagnosed at first. So it's far more prevalent than I think people really understand it to be. And often the early symptoms are misdiagnosed because it's maybe a chronic fever, or you're feeling fatigued, you're having maybe some aches and pains, things like that, where they're not really sure what it is. But as it progresses, it will cause things like arthritis, this telltale rash across your face called a butterfly rash, and it can attack your organs. So you mentioned how I've overcome this myself. I was diagnosed at 16 with all of the above. Arthritis through my body, I had a rash across my face, I had migraines that would keep me in bed throwing up, and on top of that, I had kidney failure. So they had to use experimental treatments on me just to keep me alive at 16. And I always want to bring hope for that too, because a lot of the folks that I help, I've helped people around the world reverse lupus and get their health back, but a lot of times they'll tell me that they put their life on hold because they're sick. And most of the things I've accomplished in my life, I did while sick, because I held on to hope that I could live a good life. And so I went to high school, I went to college, I went to medical school while sick. I mean, I ended up with more lupus, blood clots, mini strokes, but I think it's so important for people to know that there's hope, that you can live a good life, but you do have to take very good care of yourself. And you can even get your health back, as I've helped people do around the world at this point, including myself. This year actually is 19 years that I've been lupus free after 12 years of suffering with the disease. It's a big deal.
Yeah, very much so. Well, huge congratulations on that, Dr. Goldner. And with that, again, we know a big breakthrough for you was nutrition, right? Kind of making that connection. I'm curious, though, too, again, you mentioned the prevalence of this disease. A lot of celebrities we know have recently come out. Selena Gomez had a very public diagnosis. Lady Gaga, I think, has been open to about lupus as well. But curious, you, again, found nutrition to be a big component of this. Does this work for everyone? What have you kind of found, and why is this not more widely known at this point?
Yes, absolutely. And it's finally becoming more widely known. Thank you to a lot of celebrities have done my plan and have been coming forward with that. Robin Lawley is a supermodel who loves to harass people about drinking their green smoothies and getting themselves healthy. So it has gained a lot of momentum. And also in the medical world, I've been invited to speak. I just received an invitation to speak in Belgium. I've been invited around the world to teach doctors, which is very, very important for spreading this information. But what we have come to understand is that disease is not just a result of our genetics, but how our environment impacts our genetics. And so if you're not born with lupus, pretty much, then you had to have it caught, something triggered it, right? So what triggers disease in most people? Well, it's stressors in our environment. So there's stress from work, not getting enough sleep, but there's also stress from eating the wrong foods. They found that the rise and spread of autoimmune diseases over the past 10 years has directly been linked to the rise and spread of the Western diet. So we are eating ourselves to death, whether it's cancer or heart disease or autoimmune diseases. And so what I found is my protocol specifically is a protocol for optimizing cellular function, cellular repair in the immune system. And so when people eat the foods that repair damage to their cells, they get healthier. When you eat things that make you sicker, you get sicker. So like a recent study just showed ultra processed foods increases people's risk of dying from all causes by over 20% and from heart disease over 50%. And it increases our dementia. So yes, we've been eating ourselves to death and it tastes good, but it's not. And when we change how we eat and we optimize it, we can get our health back. And that has been my biggest cause is I got my health back. At 47, I'm healthier than I was at 17. I was able to do all the things I could never do before. Like, they told me I could never have children. They told me I'd be disabled. And I desperately want other people to have that gift as well.
Yeah, we know your testimony impacting so many people. Dr. Goldner, thank you as always. We're so grateful again, not only just for your knowledge on this, but your passion about it as well. Again, we're going to have more links to Dr. Brooke Goldner's resources on our website, tvliving.com. But for for now. Dr. Goldner, thank you again so much. And we're going to wishing you all the best, especially right now during this Lupus Awareness Month as well. So thank you again. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks.